What's going on, people? It's your boy Nando. You know what it is. It's the Pound for Pound Boxing Show in association of Dirty South Boxing. Today, I've got a very special guest. The man that is going to challenge for the IBF Championship flyweight title against Moruti Mthalane is Sonny Edwards himself. He's going to come on. We've got a lot to talk about. This is a guy that I've been trying to get on for a long time. I've been following his career for a while. And I'm so happy that the time that I'm going to get him on is when he gets a world title shot. Just became a new father as well, and we've got a lot to talk about. But remember, this is in association of Dirty South Boxing. Head over to www.dirtysouthboxing.co.uk for the best boxing gear out there. You won't be disappointed. I promise you that. While you're at it, follow us. You see the social media pages right there. You got P4_show for Twitter. You got Instagram at the Pound for Pound Boxing Show. YouTube. Remember, subscribe. Press that subscribe button, or whether it's there or there or there or there. Follow us, subscribe, share. You're helping us a lot with the next big thing in boxing, the next big channel. I appreciate whoever has supported us already. Keep the support, guys, and we won't disappoint. We're bringing you the best interviews out there with the biggest names. We haven't been in this industry for such a long time, but we've already brought you the likes of Andrade, Conor Ben, Sonny Edwards now, Katie Taylor, today, Chantel Cameron. You know, we're bringing you the best ones out there. Javier Fortuna. So let's go. Let's get Sonny on now.
Hello.
How you doing, Sonny?
Yeah, mate. 1 second. Let me just, I don't know, turn my light on.
No problem.
Yeah, mate.
How's it going, man?
Yeah, all good, all good. Can't complain.
Just want to say thank you for taking your time to speak to me today. I've been following your career for a while. I started this channel thing 2 years ago. You were one of the first names that I wanted to get on, and it was worth the wait because I've got you on just as potentially you're the next world champion. So I want to say thank you for that.
No worries. Thanks for supporting me. That's why I took the interview, to be honest. I've seen you support me for a while, and I said that I don't take too many, if I'm honest. 1 second. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Why my screen just locked. But yeah, I don't take all too many interviews, so yeah.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. First of all, and as well, on behalf of me and my colleague Jermaine from Pound for Pound, we want to say congratulations on the birth of your new son. He's gorgeous, and congratulations to you and mum as well.
Yeah, no, it was a little bit stressful, but he's all here healthy now, and training's resumed, or didn't really get stalled at all, to be honest. But yeah, it's a blessing having a healthy baby boy, having two of them now, so I can't complain. You know, there's so much bad going on in the world, so when, you know, things work out, it's good, and hopefully I'll have the world title to bring to them in the next. Couple, 3 weeks. 3 weeks it is now.
That's it, man. No, I'm happy. We're happy for you so much. Like me and Jermaine, we're fathers ourselves, so we know what it's like to have that blessing to when our sons, well, my son and his daughter were born. So it's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's crazy because before my first son, I don't think I ever held a baby. I'd never changed the nappy. I'd never fed a kid. Nothing. I mean, I'm the baby of my family, and also had the first grandkids of their generation. So it was you know, the first time round it was hard, but this time I feel like I know what I'm doing now. So, you know,
100%. I was the same, but all my friends told me, listen, when it's your own, it comes natural. At first, I was scared. Anything, the feeding, everything. So it just comes natural, man. Like boxing, it comes natural to you. Fatherhood will come natural as well.
Yeah, man, I enjoy it, to be honest. I enjoy it. That's why I was coming back from when you messaged me earlier. I was coming back from seeing my sons. So it's good. I've got a good relationship with their mother, so it's nice.
Amazing. How's training going since the fight was announced? How's training going?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, I've had a really long camp for this. I found out about 13 weeks out, and the fight didn't get announced until about 6-7 weeks out. So I had about 6 weeks of hush, not being able to tell too many people, and just waiting for it to get proper over the line, because there was a few things behind the scenes. You know, COVID didn't make it easy. There's a few things they needed to sort out, but massive thank you to my whole team. You know, Frank Warren, MTK, they all pulled together the IBF for letting me have the opportunity. When there might be people that perhaps you could say deserve it a little bit more right now, but that's the way the boxing world works. I mean, I'm just a boxer and I don't do all the politics. But yeah, I'm really made up for it. I'm excited as well, and I think it's the time for me. I'm very confident in it. Sparring's gone great. I finished my last spar today, Thomas Asomba. Um, I've done 65 rounds with, my last opponent for this camp. Brad Foster, I must have done a good 40, 50 rounds with, another 20 with or something with Marcel Braithwaite. So it's been a very good camp. Everything's gone well. I can't complain. I've had a long run at it, so there's no excuses on my end. I'm getting in there. Hopefully the best version of me. I'm probably in the best shape I've ever been in. My weight's definitely the best it's ever been. Um, yeah, and I'm just. Do you know what? I get to the point where I just get restless now, and all I want now is fight week to come round. You know what I mean? I enjoy the fighting of it. I enjoy boxing. I enjoy everything about it. But the nights you remember, the nights, the fight nights. So I'm looking forward to it.
100%. Us as your fans, we're relentless as well. Can't wait for that fight. So I can imagine for yourself as well. The question I've always been curious about is, obviously you're sparring an old foe. What's it? Is the awkwardness always out of the window once the fight is gone, and then now you're preparing your next fight, and he's your sparring partner?
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, I had this conversation. I quite like the fact that I tend to bring in old opponents for sparring because there's that bit of history. Then you got to remember, I'm getting in the ring, and everyone knows my style. It's no secret. I'm quite elusive. I'm tricky. Do you know what I mean? I'm quite provocative when it comes to my fighting style. So I want them to have that bit in between their teeth. I'm paying these people to travel up motorways and come and spar me. I want them to have that little bit extra that some sparring partners might not have. Do you know what I mean? I do, and I feel like I get that. I mean, I've got loads of great feedback from Asomba. Like, even though I beat Asomba, I learned a hell of a lot of him because he's very, very experienced, and our spars weren't really like our fights. I would stand there and work in pocket stuff and let him close the gap and try and find my way because we know I can dance around the ring. We know that, so I do it. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I just completely switch, but I'm always working on things. So if I do take a few more shots in sparring, I don't care. Do you know what I mean? It's all learning, and he was surprised straight away about how strong and how hard I hit. Because after the fight, he just assumed that I didn't and couldn't. But when I'm digging my feet in, I surprise people a little bit more, and I think that is the general consensus. But when I'm fighting, I don't like getting hit at all with those 8-ounce gloves and no head guard. It's a different ball game.
100%.
But you've got to be ready to be dragged in it. You've got to be able to react and take the shot and come back and bite down the gum shield. Who knows? I might have 2 rounds to have to pull something out of the bag that no one thinks I'm capable of. I mean, you'd forgive people if they thought if Sonny was a couple of rounds down or a few rounds down and needed a knockout in the last couple of rounds, he wouldn't ever be able to get it. Do you know what I mean? You'd forgive people for thinking that with the way I box and the way I've boxed, like. But that's why you've got to work on them. You've got to work on them when you can learn, and it's not awkward for me because people might get this image of me, but I'm a gentleman when it comes to boxing because I do respect the sport so much. Unless people find their way on the wrong side of me, then they can stay on the wrong side of me. But boxing, it isn't that. I mean, me and Marcel, we were friends years back. Like, we were good friends as well when we was coming through the England together. But we was rivals. And then straight after that, I think a couple of days after my fight or a week after, we had an hour something long phone call about stuff outside of boxing and a lot of things. Um, I mean, there was certain things going on in his life that I was made aware of before the public was and X, Y, Z, and I'm glad that he's come all through it now and he's getting his career back on track. Nothing too deep. If you'd seen it, you've seen it. But I was made aware of it, and sort of my gun was loaded before the fight of him. But I never mentioned it. I never tried getting in his head that way because I'm not disrespectful. Do you know what I mean? If he ever tried taking it way too far, then it's one of those. But I like him. I liked him before the fight, and I like him after the fight. And he come down and gave him great rounds because he probably had that bit in his teeth where he thought, "No, I'm gonna have you now." Do you know what I mean? And that's how I like it. They all gave me good rounds. They're all heavier than me at the moment. Yeah, it's been great. But nah, people take. I mean, there is some people that I probably wouldn't be in a rush to help out with things, but boxing for me is a sport. It's entertainment. When you're now fighting each other, it's the entertainment business. Do you know what I mean? That's what it is.
Of course.
I don't ever feel the need to try and get into people's heads by doing the back and forth. Because if you look at any back and forth I've ever gone into, it's not me that's fired the first gun. You know what I mean? It really, really isn't. So I don't feel the need to do that. Like, it's when I'm fighting you have a good camp, I'll have a good camp. We'll see it on fight night. But if you do want to go back and forth, we can go back and forth. Look, I've not been sending shots from Moruti trying to get in his head and get him. What, do you know what I mean? It's not that.
Yeah.
It's really not that. But I'm a very reactive person. I sit and observe and I react to everything. I'm a reactive fighter. It's my personality. I let people set the stone and I'll go along with their energy. I'll match their energy. That's why you see me doing up the madness on social medias. But it's never me first.
No, I see that. I follow all your tweets,
Yeah.
and I realize, and I don't blame you for reacting. I don't blame you for reacting. Me, I want to talk about that a little bit because I think you're a role model, in my opinion, for people who are coming up in the sport or just in general, because the younger generation are not trained, if that makes sense. Don't have a clue what goes on online, what the kind of things that trolls online could say. And I've seen some of the stuff against you, and I'm like, you know what? Hats off to Sonny for staying calm and making a joke out of it. My question is how did you get to that level to just take it how it is? Maybe you might be fuming behind the phone, but the way your reaction
I'm really not, like, one thing about me is the first rule of my engagement is the darker and the deeper and the harder they try to try and make you feel something, that just shows how much more energy they're investing into it. So that's one of the rules. It's like, if they're really going into it, it's like, yo, you're bothering them, whatever you're doing. Remember, I'm a professional boxer that is living my dream. I'm not a fake account that I'm scared to show my face. So straight away, these people's opinions can't mean anything to me, because 9 times out of 10 it is a faceless account, and then the other 1 out of 10 is just like a little idiot that's probably bitter inside with their life. You got to remember what people don't know about me. People saying that I went to a private school. I didn't go to a private school. I went to a grammar school. You didn't pay to go into it. You had to pass a test. It didn't have no catchment area. It's literally, if you thought you could get to the school and you was in the top 130 people that passed 11 plus, you got into the year. Do you know what I mean? That was it. But with that come people from all walks of life, all different backgrounds, all different areas, but a lot of intelligent lads. I went to an all-boys school until it was in sixth form. It was mixed, right? Hey. And what people don't understand is that these people are very, very quick with their mouth. And you've got to remember, I was always one of the smallest, if not the smallest in the year. I got a big mouth myself. So you can imagine what, like, scrapes I was getting into and arguments I was getting into and back and forth. But I come from an area where cussing is cussing and you just go as deep as you can, and then you can't let it affect you. Like, if anyone jumped in, so we got a friendship group, right? Some of the people that people know, Lyndon Arthur, Zelfa, Brandon Williams, and then there's like another 23 lads. All. If you jumped into the party and heard the way that people cuss each other in this party and the things that we say to each other, you would think that we hate each other. But these are the people we've got the most love for. Does that make sense?
No, I got the same group because I'm from Southwest London, so we were the same when we were kids. Everything, but the thing that these trolls is like is deep. It's more than what these WhatsApp groups, and it's like personal. Like I interviewed Conor Benn this week, and he admitted that at the beginning of his career he nearly quit boxing because of these trolls, and then I look at you, but you've kind of developed it in a way like now it doesn't faze him the same way as you. So at the beginning, did it ever affect you at first when you first became famous?
No, because I've always had a lot to say online. I feel like if I weren't successful and I was just sort of signing on or something, I'd probably be a Twitter troll, bitter about my life. Do you know what I mean? I got a lot of opinions. No, but in all seriousness, no, it doesn't affect me. There's never anything that any of them say that affect me, because I don't do anything that I'm ashamed of in my life, and I'm quite transparent in my life. I let people know what they know, but there's nothing I'm really ashamed of. So I'm never going to see anything on there that any of these idiots know that I don't about myself. Like, I know my mum's poorly. I know that's the deep ones that people are usually talking about.
Yeah.
I don't care about that because I know where it is. Do you know what I mean? With my mum, I know the real side of it. So someone putting up some nonsense on there to try and make me feel away, it's not gonna, because at the end of the day, you've already been through the worst. My mum can't do my washing up or cook me dinner no more. That affects me way more than some idiot on Twitter talking about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things. And the way I see it is, I've become sort of a more well-known fighter because of the way that I react to things and react to everything. I mean, I put like there was a lot of going on my Twitter the other day, and I thought, let me just search at Sonny Edwards and see how many people have tweeted me today. And I scrolled, and it was about 36 seconds of constant scrolling, like hundreds. And it's like, that's not even on my fight day. So what is this? This is like free advertising. My followers always go
Yeah.
like, and then every time that someone, what you got to remember is every time someone will say something quite scummy to me, if I retweet it, put a quote on it, there'll probably be 10 people defending me and supporting me, and it's just one of those things. Like, I don't mind shedding light onto it. I don't mind shedding light onto opponents that are trying to get that. I'm a reactive person. I have the last say on everything, and 9 times out of 10, these idiots will end up blocking me or getting annoyed or then leaving me alone. Do you know what I mean? And then I'll be messaging them the next day like, "Oh, where you gone?" Do you know what I mean? It's just one of those things. I think it's fun and games, to be honest. You got to remember, I was into stuff like debating at school, like history lessons and in my A levels, and where you're sitting there having arguments and discussions with people. Like, and I went to, like I said, a very clever school with. I didn't go to the best uni. I went to Sheffield Hallam to do sports, right? But 90% of my year are what's that? Oxbridge, not Oxbridge, Russell Group universities. Lads that went and got first from Oxford and Cambridge. These are the people that I was sharing, verbal sparring with. So if I want to get intellectual about things, I can run rings around these idiots on Twitter, because no one that's really successful in their life, really happy with their life, goes onto the Instagram, has got a DM full of girls that they would like to sleep with. They're not going on Twitter and calling Sonny a goofy idiot. They're not doing it because they've got bigger fish to fry. The
Yeah.
people that I'm dealing with are like the pond scum, the ones that have nothing else really. And that's why you'll see the same 10, 15 accounts constant. So for me, the thing is, they're not even bad people. That's the thing. What people don't understand is, yeah, they're doing like very dark things. But the other day, I was in a group chat with them. They invite me into their Twitter group chat. So I went, invite me, bring me to your leader. And I jumped in and I was chatting to them all. And don't get wrong, we were still giving it to each other. But then there's one lad in there that I think 4 years ago at one of my brother's fights ran up to me and asked me for a picture. And he was like, wow, how do you remember that? And I went, I've got a very good memory. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things. They're not bad people. They've got their own, but that's their catharsis. That's their catharsis. That's their little release where I go to the gym and I go sparring and I go and do other things to get my release. But that's their release. They probably don't feel heard enough in their life, and then they need the engagement, the pro. You know what I mean? So it's a game. But like I said, for me, I never see a problem with it because it's all advertisement. It's all speaking points. Do you know how many people have probably heard about me through something on internet before they've even watched me box? So then when they see my fight poster, oh, I know him. That's let me watch him. Do you know what I mean? And I'm building my profile that way, and I'm building up my persons that way, and my platform that way. And then when I step away from speaking all the nonsense to then speaking intelligently about boxing or analyzing fights, then there's a whole lot of people that are like, wow, I didn't think Sonny was capable of that. And then if you look at when me and Lyndon did that punditry, I had it's like I fought that night. Do you know what I mean? I had that many messages. BT was like, wow, we were so impressed with you, but with the feedback we was getting, it was like a breath of fresh air. Loads of people, even the people that were trying to take the piss out of my suit being too big for me. Do you know what I mean? You got to remember, I live in tracksuits every day, and that suit fit me when I was 63, 64 kilo. I'm 55 kilo now. Do you know what I mean? And next door boots ain't open. I mean, not boots, a Primark to go get a little nifty number for thing, and I got to call 2 days notice. So it is what it is, and I didn't care about that either. I didn't care about my hair going all over the place. I don't care about superficial things. You know, I don't care about the way people look or what car they drive or. Cause you got to remember, I've come from very, very humble beginnings. Don't get me wrong. There was times in my childhood that we had everything, and there was times that my dad was having to sell his car that he loved, drive like a banged out taxi up and down to just get me to training. You know, because money went dry. You know what I mean? I from 14 to 18, I slept in a mattress in my mum's partner's um, front room in a 1 bedroom flat for 4 or 5 years. Do you know what I mean? I've come from very humble beginnings that people don't know about. Do you know what I mean? I lived my first year back in Sheffield as a pro. I was living in a converted care home that was ready to get knocked down. It cost me £190 a month, all bills included. An old care home as a pro boxer. See, I'm not superficial. I don't feel the need to put an image out. I'm doing this or I'm doing that because I don't care. Money don't make me happy. Don't get me wrong. I'm doing well now and I'm providing for my kids and I've got nice things around me and I've got my beautiful dogs but money don't typically make me happy because I've seen millionaires top themselves. Do you know what I mean? It's if you're chasing that all the time or how people are commenting about you or I know boxers that get so much um intrinsic reward from the external feedback. Do you know what I mean? They get such a warm, gooey feeling when they read nice things about them. But the
100%.
danger of that is, as soon as you read something bad, you're going twice the other way. And like you said, Conor Ben said that he was close to quitting. I know. I hope she don't mind me mentioning this. 'Cause I think she's mentioned it before. But Terry Harper, one of the loveliest girls in the whole entire world. Literally, like no one that knows her could say anything bad about her. She's just a nice, humble human being that is doing so well, and I'm proud of her because I've known her for a few years now, from when she was doing the small halls, and before that even. But she, one of the nicest person in the world, has to deal with all these trolls to the point of she'll do a couple of tweets and then delete the app off her phone.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just because there's so much negative out there, but it's easy to be negative, isn't it? Like, I could get on my Twitter right now. There's nothing stopping me from writing anything apart from maybe getting banned after. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's why you can't let that. I know it's so cliche and it's one of the most overused like quotes ever, but it's like the negativity is like the water can't get inside the ship unless you let it. Do you know what I mean? And it won't sink you unless you let it. If you keep it outside, you're floating in your mouth. And that's just the way I take of it. And the final point in all of that is I train for like an hour, 2 hours a day. Apart from that, I've got a lot of free time. I don't do nothing else. So I see everything on Twitter. My brain works really quick. If you saw how I go on my phone and how quickly I cycle through those apps and how quickly I type, and it's a mazza. Like I spend about 14 hours a day on my phone, unfortunately, because I'm addicted to it. Do you know what I mean? I'm
That
addicted
makes
to
two
it.
of us, trust me. I'm exactly
But
the same.
I've been worse since my internet's been down. But yesterday my internet's been down. I'm a PlayStation kid. You know what I mean? So now that's gone on. You might see me a little bit less on there because I don't even reply to girls when I'm on my PlayStation. So let alone internet trolls. You know what I mean? But but yeah, it's all right. I'm not too fast. And like I said, do you know how many people then start taking notice of my career because of something they've seen or something they've read? And the people that want you to lose, the people that are sat there on the 30th of April, ready with quick finger tappers, ready to tell if I lose or if I'm not doing this, that's engagement. And engagement in my business, in my line of work, means money. Do you know what I mean? That's it. The more people that engage with you, the more you get paid, and it's simple math. So and people got to remember, this isn't me just forcing a personality. I've I was that kid in a class of 20 people that would put their hand up and say the controversial thing. You know, the play devil's advocate. I would
Yeah.
like I think Bugsy Malone had a lyric. Sometimes I say things just to be different, and that really, really was me. Like, so I don't mind being the one that everyone points to and laughs at and looks at. I really don't, and I can't stress that enough. And people when they think that I'm biting or they're triggering me, I put things out there constantly to get reaction. Like look at that video that Frank Warren put out today. Me looking into a camera with my pigtails, hair all
Yeah.
over the place after training session. My beard where I've twizzled it like this, so it's like a little pube curl around. Like, do you not think I know the comments that are going to come with that? And do you think I
100%.
care? I go through them and laugh at the ones that are funny. Because I'm like, I can take I take the piss out of myself more than anyone else could on a regular basis. So it is what it is. It comes with the territory. And if you're speaking about it, you're doing something right. And it's not because I'm going around slapping kids or kicking dogs or being racist. You know what I mean? I'm not doing anything that everyone's thinking I'm a scumbag for. I'm just being myself. And then people don't like me, they don't like me. And if they want to spend a couple of minutes, couple of tweets, or if they want to go back and forth with me for hours, that's fine because you're engaged with my life and I don't even know who you are.
I echo that because you remind me of myself. I'm a controversial person, but not crossing the line. I say, if someone says something, I have to retaliate in the sense of, if I've got something to say, I'll say it.
Yeah.
I've got in trouble in the past from it. I can't name the names, but boxers have blocked me in the past on my old account, and due to this channel, I've had to bite my tongue a lot. I have to always sit on the fence. Like, I can't sit there.
I'll be real with you. I can take all this stuff from these idiots, yeah, but I don't know if you've seen it. One journalist was trying to take the piss out of me, basically called me shit, said that someone was going to beat me, and then said something about if I don't. He said he was going to beat me, and if anyone was tipping him as well. But then he went, well, if Sonny's as good as he constantly bangs on about, then he'll win every round minimum. Bear in mind, I'm jumping in with a 2 times Olympian who's a very good fighter. Like, so you can see the negative tone that he's putting on that. He didn't just say, "Oh, I think if someone's going to win, he's a good fighter." He was trying to dig,
Yeah.
and then he made a comment on my hair, which is fine. Like, I knew what my hair looked like. I knew I looked like a fucking idiot. Do you know what I mean? I didn't think, oh, that looks really good. I look really fashionable. This is gonna catch on. Do you know what I mean? It weren't that sort of party. But he then last week or something then tried emailing me asking me for an interview. Like, no, you prick.
No
You know
way.
I mean? Yeah, I put him on blast on Insta, Twitter. You must have missed that one. I put him on blast on Twitter. And then he was like, oh, if that's what, oh, you got me. And then he was saying to people that was replying to him, oh, if that's what you get for picking a fighter wrong. It's like, no. That wasn't a problem because anyone could have picked the Somba. The Somba's a very good fighter. A very good fighter. And I have no qualms people thinking I'm going to get beat. Or it's the way you do it. Like, and with stuff like that, yeah. Like, say if an interviewer, then you can't come back with me. Once the line is drawn of disrespect, like, I'm just one of them people that you don't really want to get on the wrong side of because my mouth will go. Look how I go on with Shane McGuigan. You know what I mean? It's don't get on the wrong side of me once because otherwise you'll stay on the wrong side of me. Unless you come and apologize and then we can squash it. Unless you make some sort of olive branch and we can squash it. But apart from that, my mouth is ready to go and my Twitter fingers are ready. You know what I mean? They're ready and I show. Once they've shown me a level of disrespect, I match it and then take it up a notch. That's the way I've always been. I mean, I grew up in a household with my brother, right? Anyone or anything that got said to my brother, his response was always straight for the jugular. He didn't go up in layers. He went full tilt with his response. You know what I mean? So I've always had that, and I learned that from him. That if you want to take it to that level, I'll show you. I'll take it further. So that's my other rule of engagement. You know what I mean? But like I said, apart from that, I keep myself to myself, and until people give me proper reason to, and they give me a reason to, then I kind of just leave them to it. But don't give me a personal reason as to dislike you because then I don't feel no way about anything I do. And where I'm quite, well, not trying to blow my own trumpet, but where I'm quite clever and quick-witted, I can spin out some good one-liners that catch on and then make you look stupid. And if people want to go back to back with me, I'll go back to back. I've got legs for this. I'll stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning making sure I get the last word.
No, I agree with you. At the end of the day, look, you got to be respectful in what you say because it will come back and bite you. At the end of the day, I have the same issue with this channel as well. I respect that the fact that the other day you came back to me. I didn't even message you. You came back to me respectfully and said, bro, let's do it another day. I ain't got no internet. Mate, the amount of boxers that have said, oh, let's go on in 5 minutes, don't turn up. Don't even leave a message. Let me wait for half an hour, 45 minutes, not even an apology in that. Once you do that, I won't message you for like 6 months. That's the rules. I won't message you for 6 months. I don't care if you're the next unified, undisputed world champion and is going to get me 200,000 views or whatever. For me, it's all about respect. And I echo what you said. Obviously, if they get on the wrong side and they don't have the decency to apologize or offer olive branch, then that's it.
Yeah, and do you know what? I'm very an easy person to make amends with because I understand that energy changes. You know what I mean? You might think about something one way, and the next day it might not be there the same way. However, if they don't make no point of rectifying it, then we can stay there. But yeah, like you said, you've done that little 6 month rule. I think it's good. People are like not enough people have standards that for themselves that they set in place, and I really do. And I don't even think about what my standards are. But if I probably really dove into my brain and wrote a list of all my, how I act and how I react, it's very consistent. I'm a consistent person with it. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's people that largely exaggerated and took things out of context in my 5th or 6th fight as a pro in interviews that are good interviewers, and I've got no problem with them really. But from that, they could never do an interview with me again. Do you know what I mean? Even I did blacklist the channel he worked for a while until I did an interview and then found out who it was for after one of my press conferences, and then I thought, do you know what? He's not in it. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that like I've just got my standards set very, very high, and it's because I've got principles.
Of course.
And that's why look how much crud, yeah. I'm a little bastard with a lot to say. Look how much crud that I've talked and things I've done, and I've never had to I've said this like time and time. I've never had to be like my management never gotten to me like, Sonny, you're gonna need to issue an apology for this. You know what I mean? We're gonna have to get the PR team out, and then we're gonna have to deal with this. You know what I mean? It's never been that because I'm not a bad person. I'm clever enough to know where the sort of social boundaries are and what you can and what you can't say, what you can and can't talk about. But at the same time, I'm not in the business of keeping my mouth shut and just holding the line. People that's like the kids with quiet mouth never got any sweets. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. And you got to remember, time and time again, I'll say it. I'm at a weight that is arguably and historically the least fashionable weight in boxing with flyweights. Even the name of the weight is like demeaning. Do you know what I mean? Flyweight, like, do you know what I mean? But with my style, with my attitude, with my approach to things, I've managed to build a good platform where I'm up there with a lot of the bigger names now. Do you know what I mean? Look at the show I'm headlining. I mean, I know it is for a world title, but Michael Conlan is the chief support, and that is amazing to me because he's a fighter I've looked up to. I mean, when he boxed in Belfast, I think for the first time, I was on his undercard at 5 or 6 o'clock. And I hadn't even boxed on TV yet. Like, and he's a friend of mine as well. But like I said, that's amazing to me because you could have chucked him on a main event and had me at chief support and on my world title fight. I wouldn't have bugged an eyelid because he's a massive name of boxing. Let's be real, and I've earned that by not only my performances and taking the opportunities that I've had and the fights that I have, but also by making myself a product of what people they either like, they either dislike, they're feeling something. They're feeling something, whether it's lust or disgust. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what it is, as long as they're engaging with you, as long as they see your name and they have a feeling towards it. Even if it's I want to see him get knocked out by the South African that I've never heard of. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter, and so my career, Touchwood, will have a very long career. It might have its ups, it might have its downs, but it's an honest sport where you see how good people are in the ring. Do you know what I mean? You see it, regardless of the corruptness comes after the final bell when the judges get involved. But apart from that, you can see in the performance how good someone is. And I want to test myself. I think I'm up there with the best in the world, and I thought it for a very long time.
You're considered number one in the country, despite what the rankings say. You're considered number one in the country. So
I'm number one in the country by the rankings now as well.
You're number one now.
Yeah, I'm ranked number
Amazing.
one.
There you go, and you deserve to be there. So
and I'm ranked 6th in the world. Like, bear in mind, BoxRec is an independent platform. That their ranking system might not be perfect, but it's literally an algorithm which picks up your record, your body of work, all the people you've beat and their body of work. You know what I mean? It's like an algorithm. And my body of work, that's people have said I boxed no one, he's had no hard fights. I'm ranked 6th in the world, above world champions. Do you know what I mean? Because of the people who I've beaten, the people that they've beat. That's how it works. So people can say I don't deserve this or whatnot, but the people that know boxing know that I've had my gut checks and I've had my hard fights, and I've always pushed for the biggest, hardest fights at every level. I was offering out Team GB fighters at Southern area, an English level, ready to fight them at 2 months' notice, 6 weeks' notice. Put my hand up and I'll fight him at there for that. Oh no, we're waiting for the fight to get bigger. That's all I've heard. I've heard that from every single fighter in Britain. We're waiting for the fight to get bigger. But then when I get my world title on the 30th of April, I'm the bigness in the fights and you are miles off because you're still waiting for the fight to get bigger with me. Has left them on the English title fights and no managements and no promoters and not sure when they're boxing next and I haven't boxed in a year. And because I've been an honest fighter that said to Uncle Frank and my management team, get me the hardest fight you can get me the best fight you can get me for what they're trying to pay me at this stage. And I've taken every single one. Every single time I've had a fight, I've never then started going, oh, well, I could get XYZ for fighting him. So if I'm fighting him, I want a bit more. Never done that. We agreed my money on the contract, my minimum purses. And I said, get me that and get me the hardest fight for that. I'm not hard to work with. Why do you think I get all the opportunities? Like, there's other great fighters, good fighters out there. But what will always let them down is their ambition and their mindset and not liking boxing. I can take a loss. I've taken losses and come back. Every time I've ever lost as an amateur, I've come back better. And that's on God. Every single time, because when I was getting in the stage of winning too much as an amateur, it was that loss that was like, oh, I've got to get my ass back into gear. Do you know what I mean? And that's on everything. Not even that I've been thinking about it for a million years, but that's why I don't go into the ring scared of a loss. I don't. It's not that fear doesn't exist. Even if I get at some point in my career sparked out within a round, that'll be a shock to me because it's never happened before. I've never not seen the final bell in any spar or any fight I've ever been in my whole entire life. But I'm not oblivious to the fact that it can happen. And what we get paid for as fighters is the reaction after that. We get paid for the fight, the entertainment. But what we're getting paid for, we fight for free. We spar each other, the best, for free, all the time. I've been sparring to Somba, who I got paid money for, however many months ago. I've been paying them each week, each sparring session. Do you know what I mean? To get me ready for this. So us fighters, we do the fighting for free. Really, is everything that comes with it that we get paid for. And one of the things that come with it is you get beat. You might be constantly seeing you get knocked out on BT or on Sky or whoever they're trying to build. You know what I mean? But that's part and parcel. You can't feel sorry for yourself. A lot of boxers have that once and can't do it again. No, I don't like it. It's a part of the sport. It's like being a goalkeeper. It's like being a goalkeeper and letting in a penalty that knocks you out of the Champions League or losing the Champions League final. You're going to see that for the rest of your life. Yeah. But that's what you're getting paid all that money for. The people commenting and having an opinion on it because they have every right to comment whatever they want. They're the consumer. It's like me buying this Samsung TV and then me having a complaint with it and then them saying, what? Do you know what I mean? Like, yo, I can say what I want about it because I'm the consumer. The fans are the consumers. Let them have their opinion. 100%. Let them voice it. Let them voice it. Don't be offended by it because they're just a fan. They're just a fan. They're not your trainer. They're not your management team. If my manager or my trainer started saying some of these things that people say on Twitter, then I'd start being worried. You know what I mean? About Sonny can't punch or Sonny's useless or Sonny's going to get found out. The people that matter don't say these things. Do you know what I mean? They don't. So why are you going to let the opinion of people that are not qualified? They are not qualified. They are fans, so they can make and voice an opinion on anything they're watching, but they ain't got no qualifications. They ain't got no credentials to speak about or accolades or achievements that they can draw back to. If they did know about who they are, they wouldn't be an internet troll. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just one of those things. The people that know me rate me, and the people that have seen me in the gyms or know boxing, they rate me, and that's all that matters for me. And even then, that don't. If no one rates me, I don't care. As long as I'm still getting fight opportunities, I don't care because no one's opinion matters. How many times has everyone picked the wrong fighter? How many times has everyone said, no, he's getting knocked out and he's not? And he's ended up winning. It's happened time and time again. So it doesn't matter people's opinions. It doesn't matter. It's an opinion. It's like an arse. So everyone's got one. And so they should. So they should.
I would agree
Because
with
the more
you.
people that have an opinion on the sport, the better. The more people tune into anyone that's watching it, the better. We need to make our sport as big as possible for all of us, for everyone involved. Whether it's because of good reasons or bad reasons or everything in between. Every fan that we can keep on boxing instead of going to MMA or golf or whatever, we want them over here. So don't get offended by it because I'm sure Tiger Woods got a lot of stick when he got caught cheating on his missus. You know what I mean? It just is what it is.
Yeah.
Not going to affect his bag though. You know what I mean? And I can't really sum it up more than that because it just that whole side of things is just what Wiley said. I know what to do to make my pockets go. You know what I mean? And I feel like I do. And maybe I'm lucky that it doesn't affect me, but I grew up in a world where the world's not a nice place. Do you know what I mean? The world's horrible. You know what I mean? I like people think I have this image about me and what I getting off my bus every single day. I used to have to run. I used to run through. I could fight as well, but I used to have to run through the alleyways and take the longer route home so I didn't get my BlackBerry taken off me. You know what I mean? So the world is not a nice place. Stop thinking it's all sunshine and rainbow just because people can complain and put Ofcom reports and everything's got to be politically correct. Because deep down, take that away, we're still all scumbags. Everyone, it is what it is. Just because people like to dress it up and act like all this nonsense don't happen. I come from a place where like the world's not a nice place, and there's a lot worse than someone talking about my mum or calling wants my kid to get bullied or we lose friends that are spending or life in jail or get people getting stabbed. Like they're the real horrible things, the real life things, and people breaking people down doors trying to steal their dogs at gunpoint, and they're real life stresses to worry about, not tweets, not tweets. You know what I mean? That like they're not even people saying it's your life. Do you know how many? Do you know how many people I've been walking down the street and have shouted someone can be abusive in my life? Zero, absolutely zero. Like, but on Twitter it's very easy to go tap 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 tap.
Yeah, of course.
And like I said, one of these trolls I've met before, and he was up my arse. And he's not a bad lad. Like I said, they're just doing it for reaction, and then between them, they have their little trophies of what they've done, and I'm not asked. Their opinions can't ask. And like you said, yeah, loads of fighters they do end up going away from the sport or not liking it because they can't hack all of that. But for them to be speaking about you in the first place, you're doing something right. Because who are they not speaking about? You know what I mean? Not speaking about people that are doing nothing. They're not speaking about someone that's going down job seekers and signing on. They're not speaking about someone that works as an accountant. They're not doing it. So you're actually doing something in a public eye. Know the beauty of the beast. It's like when all these influencers and that do all that things and then start talking about my mental health. It's like know the beauty of the beast of what you're getting into. If you want to use your public profile as your method of making money, understand what comes with it. The good, the bad, and the ugly. You have to, and if you're oblivious to that, then you're just foolish to me. And maybe I was armed up well enough by my upbringing, my dad being non-stop with his mouth. My dad was a big cusser. My dad would cuss, shout down the house. You know what I mean? If you've done anything wrong, yeah, the hot. So, but he only ever shouted. You know what I mean? He never laid his hands on us. He only ever shouted at us. And I drowned that out, and that's someone actually shouting in my face. You know what I mean? Shouting at me, telling me to do this, whatnot, not shouting at me in the gym for not do. And that's real life, and I can block that out. You know what I mean? So it just is what it is. I mean, people are waiting in this generation. People are way too soft, sensitive, and if you are that way inclined, life's gonna be hard. It is.
100%.
It's gonna be a long, tough route, and while people are boxing and things are going well, but sometimes going bad and whatnot, wait until you retire, and everyone forgets about you. And the only thing for some of you is losing at your biggest level. At the highest level you reach, a lot of people lose at that level because that's the highest level they've reached. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot more stories of people going away from boxing with a sour taste between them after finishing at the top, because you usually find your level. Because if not, your level finds you. So enjoy the journey, take the rough with the smooth, and then keep it moving. Don't feel sorry for yourself, and then do whatever suits your life. Do you know what I mean? But once you're in the public eye, you've got to understand you're in the public eye. You can't be obsessing over the opinion of idiots. You know what I mean? It's crazy to me how people are sometimes, and how they let it affect them. And I might be saying it quite bluntly. I'm not trying to put down their struggles, because I can imagine for some people it is quite hard. But when you really deep how idiotic a lot of the people are, then and they're just saying anything they think is going to trigger you, and usually they're right. They do trigger you, and that's what they're trying to achieve. So then you're playing into their hands.
Yeah.
But I don't block anyone. Not one person gets blocked by me. Not one person. I've been blocked by loads of these accounts though. I've been blocked by loads of people when they start on me, and I give back to them and they don't like it. Or an apologies and whatnot, because I'm good at this game. I know the troll game inside out. I'm the biggest boxing troll out there. Because I've got the biggest platform. I've got bigger platforms than the rest of them.
Let's talk about your opponent. Obviously, you're fighting Moruti Mthalane. He's a former IBO champion. He's a two-time IBF champion. 41 fights, two losses. And another thing as well, I looked at his records. He's taken a lot of people's O's. My question is, what makes Sonny Edwards different from those 43 fights, those 43 opponents?
I move my feet. I feel like it sounds very simple, but 99% of this boxing people, they just fight. So, I mean, and if you're trying to fight someone like Moruti, you're not really gonna come out in the best shape. Even if you do win, you're still gonna get busted up because he's a very hard man. I don't take physical. For me, it's like a mental game of chess before it is a physical one. I'm nicking the shots. I'm finding the angles. I'm making you miss. I'm trying to get you frustrated. I'm trying to tire you out and knock you out mentally before physically, because your mind will give up way before your body does. And as soon as your mind does, your body follows. I think that's the difference. I'm very fit. I think people underestimate my fitness a lot of the time. I'm very fit, and I want this as well. I mean, I don't want to do anything else, so it just is what it is. And like I said, for me, on my day, I'm a nightmare for absolutely anyone. I am. I can be beat. I've been beat as an amateur. But over the longer rounds, I'm even harder, because it's a real mental game of chess. Do you know what I mean? Then it's not just 3 rounds of tipper-tapper, or who won 2 of the 3 rounds. You know what I mean? It's a whole different ball game. It's okay, you're gonna give me them first 4 or 5 rounds because I'm doing more than you think I should be doing, and you think I'm gonna slow down. Okay, then when I don't slow down, what are you gonna do then? And then when I know that I'm clear up, and now I know you're chasing the fight, I can do everything in my power to open up that get the distance without just running. I take 1 step, and then as soon as they're not coming, I stop. Like, there's a lot to my style that people don't see. I've got very good reactions. I can take a shot probably better than people give me credit for. And like I said, I've got heart. There's no quitting me. I like it. You know what I mean? I like boxing, and I've never really struggled with the powerful people, the heavy-handed people, the slower people. Do you know what I mean? They're people I would rather quickly get into the ring with, rather than the good boxers, because then it becomes a proper technical chess match, and it's a headache. Shut up. Don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter. He is, and he's someone I like, and he's someone that I look up to as a champion, and hopefully I can be up there with the likes of the Morutis, and hopefully this can be my introduction to the world level, and I come through it with flying colours, and then I start showing people what I'm really about. That's the plan. But it's a legit world champion, the Ring Magazine #1. Not no easy touch, not no vacant title. Which is no problem with that, because that's just boxing. You don't look at these 2 nutters, man.
Are you disappointed that there's no crowds, or it doesn't matter to you? You got your shot. It doesn't matter. You're going to take that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like a Josh Warrington that sells 10,000 seats. You know what I mean? So I do all right with tickets. I've always done all right, and I'm more disappointed for the people that have supported me my whole way, because I've had people that have generally never missed a fight, whether it's like anywhere apart from like my first one in Spain. They've hit every single fight. You know what I mean? And I'm more disappointed for them because with me, once I'm in the ring, I'm not thinking about who's in the crowd or there's more people watching on the TV anyway. Do you know what I mean? And reacting that way. So yeah, it doesn't really bother me, to be honest. That really doesn't bother me. Don't get me wrong, I would like to have been a big night and all the fanfare, but like I said, I'm not in boxing to be famous, and I think that's one thing about me compared to quite a few people that I've noticed. And the people that sometimes get affected by things a lot more is they're not just in boxing to be famous, but they like the fame that comes with it. I really don't. I'm quite a private person, especially like in my actual day-to-day life. I'm not putting myself into places trying to get noticed or going to all these events just to get my face out there or trying to
Yeah.
meet some people that's going to help boost my platform. I chill around the same people that I come up with. Do you know what I mean? The people that are there for me, like they're my friends. You know what I mean? I didn't, I didn't get, I didn't get, a little bit of a platform and then start hanging around with all Love Islanders and reality TV stars. Just to, do you know what I mean? To push my, I don't act. Fame doesn't bother me. If I'm only remembered as a boxer, that would be great for me. I don't want to be famous. Um, so for that reason, people being there and sort of applauding you and shouting how good you are if you win, and it's not something that I get all too much out of, because when I come out of the fights, usually I go back to the change room and see my loved ones and like spend it with my team. I'll go and have a little look at the friends that have come and support me, but I'm not one of them people that walk around still in my boxing shorts so everyone knows I've just boxed and wants the belt. Right? You know what I mean? It's really that sort of side of the boxing doesn't really interest me all too much. It's just I do understand though that the more exposure you have, the more the bigger your platform, the better your boxing career will be, because that just comes with it. But if I was only ever just known as a boxer and Sonny Edwards a boxer was only ever known by boxing people, that would be fine by me. Like it really would be. Do you know what I mean? It really would be.
What's your thoughts that has been announced this week? That obviously I know your focus is on Mthalane, but there is this thing that you winning and Jay Harris winning. There's this massive domestic fight. What's your thoughts on the potential fight of you versus Jay Harris? It's a fight that people been talking about for years, and now it could happen.
Yeah, but if I do win this, he won't be my first defense.
No?
No, and not even because of my choice. I'll have a mandatory enforced on me because there was already a mandatory that
Right.
that Moruti was meant to fight in December 2020, and then that fell through. And because of all their regulations, they was finding it hard. So they've let me fight for it on the promise that he comes through, and he's a Manny Pacquiao fighter, Filipino, from what I know. So I'd have to get through that before I'd even thought about Jay Harris, I think. I don't know how it all is going to work and because these things often change and whatnot, but that's my belief. But yeah, Jay's a friend of mine, a great fighter as well.
He's a fighter.
Yeah, he's a very good fighter. And what I like about Jay, he's like me in the sense we're just an honest boxer. He's not he's not trying to be famous. He's just trying to provide for his family the best way he can, and that's through boxing. And I like him so much. He almost seems too nice of a person to be a boxer, but he's not, because he's a very good boxer. But honestly, I've got a hell of a lot of time for Jay, and if I could give him the opportunity, don't get me wrong, I don't mean this in a bad way. I feel like I beat Jay, but in the same way, I feel like I beat anyone in the world, like constantly, and that's how I feel. I feel like I can jump in the bantamweights to a certain level in the world, maybe not world level, but I reckon a lot of the British ones I dance all over. You know what I mean? But that may be my arrogance. It might be. Like I believe in myself that much. But I given the opportunity, he wouldn't even need a final eliminator to get the fight with me, because he'd be one of the people that I'd be like, yeah, I'll fight Jay. Let's have a massive show. Because one, it's a great fight. Two, he's got a massive platform and had a good performance against Martinez. So he deserves it. He earned it, and it would be the biggest fight out for me there, probably in Britain. Especially if fans were back. I mean, there's probably a few places they could host that, and he would have all his fans following him, and I'd have my fans following me, regardless of where it is. And a lot of people would watch it because it'll probably be, can Sonny keep him off for 12 rounds? I think that is usually the question, because people are going to struggle to outbox me and outscore me. It's usually if they're going to knock me out. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, but like I said, he's one of them people that I would happily will not feel no way about giving a voluntary defence to if that was ever the case. Do you know what I mean? And I honestly mean that. But when there's other names that will pop out the woodwork as soon as I'm world champion, they ain't got a hope in hell because of how they blocked me at British level or didn't or called me out and then actually no, we'll wait for the fight to get bigger. Nah, I take that as a big disrespect because now you're just using my name to be relevant. Like if you search Sonny Edwards in YouTube, there's so many mentions of me and so many people's interviews, but none of them ever want to fight me because they've all been offered to fight. Do you know what I mean? It's just one of them. Like, you have certain promotions, every single article about their fighter, mention my name. And then as soon as he gets knocked out by the kid that I beat 12 months before, my name's not mentioned no more. It's not, but Sonny Edwards beat him. Do you know what I mean? It's all of Sonny Edwards forgotten about. Do you know what I mean? So, I take that as a great deal of disrespect because anyone's name that I've ever mentioned, I'm ready to fight. I've never mentioned someone's name and then, actually, no, I'm not actually ready to fight them. I'm ready for the call to come back. Not that it ever has, but I'm ready for it too. So that's why I don't like these people that just chat for headlines because I really don't and never have done that. Like, you see me in a few interviews before, like a year and a half ago, I mentioned wanting Moruti. That's the route I wanted to take. I weren't saying it for dramatic effect or a bit of added decoration. I was saying it because that's the fight I genuinely wanted. And now look at me, I've chased it and I've got it. Like, a lot of these fighters aren't real. They say what they think needs to be said. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go into it too much, but a lot of fighters are like that. They'll come out with things that they just want to put in the headline, but then they have no intention of doing what they're saying they're going to do. And that's not my bag. That's not the way I'm inclined. I'm honest. If, touch wood, a fight ever I squeaked past that I didn't think I won, I promise you now I'll be the first person saying I didn't think I won that fight. Not, I did this, but I did that. I'm very, very level-headed, and you'll probably see that over the course of my career. Do you know what I mean? You'll probably see that over them. I'm honest with myself, I would like to think, and I'm honest with the people. I don't like shoveling shit and trying to sell it as snow. Do you know what I mean? It's not what I'm about. I just try and be real to myself and do my thing. And if I'm good enough, I'll show that I'm good enough. If I'm not, they'll show me that I'm not. It's simple as that. And I don't feel
one name I want to bring up to you that you mentioned them before with Jay Harris, and it a little bit annoys me that I read this online and people say in interviews, and deep down I know it's not the reason why. So obviously you brought up Martinez. Obviously he had the fight with Charlie. He fought Jay Harris, and now people say, Sonny has to fight Martinez to avenge his brother. I'm going to say it in a different way. It's the reason why you won Martinez, not because of Charlie, because he's the best. He's the number one right now. You want to be the man, you got to beat the man. And the number one in Britain has to beat the number one in the world to be the number one in the world. Am I correct in saying that? That's why
you
would want Martinez.
A lot of people, because of the light he's had shed on him, a lot of people could say that he's the number one in the world. But if you ask the Ring magazine, who are probably more qualified of saying who's the number one in the world, they got Moruti. All I'm saying is Moruti goes to any country and fights any man on this planet and has done that time and time again. I don't think he's ever had a unification fight. Why? Because other champions aren't in a rush to get in the ring with him. Why? Ask them. But if you don't think that Eddie Hearn couldn't have rang up and made a unification fight between Martinez and Moruti for the price that he was asked for, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. There's reason why he's avoided. There's reason why he's had inactivity. He's been a world champion for years. No 2 reigns. No unification fights. Why is that? So you can call him number one all you want because he's had the bigger profile fight. But Moruti has proved time and time again that he beats and fights anyone. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
if I beat Moruti, I don't know how the ring works, but if I beat the Ring magazine number one, does that make me the Ring magazine number one? I'd like to think it does, because then
I'm sure
when I do say I want a unification fight, then I get the Ring magazine attached to it. You know what I mean? So I hope so. I hope that's how it works. But I don't necessarily see him as the best because I think he'll have a very hard time with both Artem Dalakayan and with Nakatani. So it's all up in the air. Don't get me wrong, he could definitely beat them. I'm not saying he doesn't beat them, but they're all proper hard fights. Like Jay Harris showed how someone that's tough, teak tough, can survive him and weather his shots and get the success back. That's been now shown. That's been now proven. Yes, he beat Rosales. Yes, he did that with my brother. Yes, he beat Selby, but he's a monster that can generally hit very hard. I mean, it must be easy when you got Clenbuterol in your system. Like it must be, but yes, he can do all of those things. But for me, you can't just say, oh, he's definitely number one because the people he's beat doesn't really suggest that. Really, because the flyweights champions, they've been all kept away from each other, and I don't know why that is too much. Hopefully, if I get the belt, it'll be a different story because what I think with Moruti is, even though he had the IBF world title, his risk might not be worth the reward. So the money they're getting for that level of opponent of how good he is, and once they've got their world title, why are they giving him the opportunity to maybe come and beat them? They're not giving him the opportunity, you know what I mean? And they haven't given him the opportunity time and time again. I mean, you don't stop Tete and Casemiro in back-to-back fights and not be a very good fighter. It doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, it's avenging my brother. That will add to the good storyline. I mean, that'll be the reason why if Edwards versus Martinez 2 got announced, it'd be the reason why a lot more people would have eyes on it and there'd be a lot more exposure to it. I'm aware of that. It's a reason my purse would be a lot better as well. Let's be real. It's as real as it gets. But to avenge my brother was weight drained for that fight. I mean, you could see how bad he was on the scales. He was too big for flyweight at that point in his life.
100%. I was there that night as well.
That happened, man. Look at him on the scales. He was terrible. I'm not going to go into details of what he had to go through to get into that. He had a lot of weight to lose, but he knew that he was not giving up. He didn't want to give up his world title, but it wasn't safe. Like after that, going through that, all of that, it was not safe for him to then try and do it again 6 months later and then jump in with the same little animal. You know what I mean? It just wasn't safe or smart to do so. Like he said to me, and he said to Grant, this is on my baby's life. Well, let me get them out, man. Playing. Get up. This is on my baby's life. He said 3 weeks before that fight that he was never making flyweight again. No matter what happened with that fight.
Win or lose.
Win, lose, or draw, or sideways, which it went. He was never making flyweight again. He couldn't do it. He was celebrating making check weights. Like, one sec. He was celebrating making check weights. So he got a weakened down Charlie, definitely, because he wasn't in the best states around the weigh-in. It wasn't after. But you know the risk you're taking when you get in the ring. No excuses. But that's the truth, whether people want to believe me or not. I mean, you can look on the scales. Even in the ring, he looked. You could see he weren't like
100%. I believe you. I was there that night, and me and Jermaine, and we were looking. Was like, that's not the Charlie we've seen before.
Against Rosales. And with Charlie, it's not going to be because he cuts corners. With me, you see me fleshy in that because I cut corners. I'll be real, but Charlie has always been a proper professional with tracking everything, making sure he's not eating no shit food. Any cheats he had is calculated or calorie. He's like a freak with it. You know what I mean? So he just typically outgrew the weight, and like with him, he struggled with how people have reacted to that. He's another one that struggles with that side of things. And it's a shame, really, because it ends up seeing a lot of good fighters get pushed away from the sport that they love because they can't deal with the pressures of people speaking nonsense about them, to be honest. And that's why I'm so glad that I'm very thick-skinned. That's why I'm so glad I'm very thick-skinned. And whatever happens, it's like a football match to me. Boxing, I enjoy that much. I like it to go and play in a football match. If I lose in football, I don't come out thinking, oh, I'm shit, or I'm never doing this again. Do you know what I mean? Or it just is what it is. I'll go again. I'll rebuild. That's the plan. That's always the plan. I've got big, long, hefty goals. I'm not going to let setbacks take away because every dog has its day, and sometimes it's a day. Look, Charlie lost against Casemiro 2 years later, WBC champion of the world. Do you know what I mean? And then your careers do go up and down, but and then So Martinez is don't get me wrong, he's a very good fighter, and a very dangerous fighter, but I don't think anything I'm not capable of dealing with. Very hard fight. Very hard fight for anyone. Anyone that punches that hard is going to be. But
It's
at
gonna
this
have to
level,
catch you first.
yeah, but it's not even that. It's having chasing shadows. He throws his punches from the other side of the ring, but that's a whole nother fight. That's probably never even going to happen because I'm one of them styles they wouldn't be in a rush to put him with. I know that. When when I tweeted every time he fights Eddie Hearn, well, let me ever go at him. I've never had no comment back. Never had no, oh, let's get onto your management and see if we can make something happen. It's never, ever, ever been that. It's radio silence, and that's on everything. Absolute radio silence. Like I do not exist. Like I'm not one of the biggest names in flyweight, super flyweight world boxing. There's not that many of us. But let's be real. I've got one of the biggest platforms out there. I do. Not the biggest. Not the biggest. I'm not saying I'm the biggest. But out of the people that haven't won a world title, there's not too many more people that are recognizable than me. Would you say? Could you argue there is? There's not in this country.
No, no,
Yeah, exactly. So apart from the world champions, the people that have been up there, elite, there probably isn't no bigger name at Fly Superfly. So why would Eddie be in no rush to make that fight? Because they know my style isn't you hit me, I hit you, you hit me, I hit you. Let's see who topples over first. I can make people look stupid, and I've had people fight me for 10 rounds that I've not even been that switched on against, and they've landed 31 punches total in 10 rounds of fighting. They're not the greatest level fights, but that's a 3 punches a round on average. I'm landing that every 5-10 seconds. Like I'm a hard person to beat, and especially when I'm switched on, which I would have to be against top level, the top skin. And we'll see how good I'm at world level. But regardless of what happens, I'll never let it deter me because I love boxing. The only thing I want to do, I'm going to be boxing until my body gives up on me. Do you know what I mean? Win, lose, or draw, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm an honest fighter. I'll probably end up making more money and have more fun as the opponent's side on the slide. No, when I'm getting phone calls like, yeah, I'll have that little prospect that you think is going to beat me. No chance. You know what I mean? I love boxing. I don't want to do anything else. I'm not fussed about records. Whatever you achieve, you're going to achieve. That's it. Like, however good I am, as long as I keep putting myself in them opportunities, my mindset's not going to change because of results or things that happen. Because I know the dangers of the sport. We are in what I would argue the hardest sport that exists in the world. I know there's always that leaderboard of hardest sports and it is number one. But I would believe that we fight for 36 minutes, 3 minutes rounds constantly, 10 seconds down. You can't hold people, lay on them for 5 minutes if that's one of your styles, or if you get clipped once, you're knocked out. It's like we exist in probably the most physically demanding sport in the world. And I love it.
No, I totally agree.
And I love it. And I love challenging myself and I love pushing myself. And I get the goosebumps from the hard fights and rubbish fights and fights that no one cares about. They don't stimulate me either. Like I remember I had one fight where I took short notice. Harvey Horn went the distance from him the week before. Then I fought him the week after, and I put him down 4 times and stopped him in the second round. I was disappointed that I sold it. I sold about 50, 60 tickets. I was embarrassed. I went out, come to the management, I was like, do not ever get me a fight like that again. That was pants. You know what I mean? That was like, I can't get no enjoyment out of that. I need a teeth that I can bite my teeth into. I say shot a couple of times to my opponents because they've got me. Do you know what I mean? That's what I enjoy. Like, I don't run away from getting put down by Marcel or Granados or having hard rounds with Thomas Somba. I don't enjoy it. They're the fights that people are a bit more on edge about. You know what I mean? They're the ones that people enjoy more. Put me in with the Lions and see if I run ahead of the pack. That's it. That's it. I always want the biggest fights. Win, lose, or draw. I won't be saying, oh, I need a comeback fight. I need a 10 round, 8 round, a 6 round. Get me the biggest, best fight that my profile, your management skills, my promotional skills. Give me the biggest fight that you can. What have you got for me? Every single time, that'll be my attitude from now until the end. Whatever they can offer me, whatever you can serve me, I will take. Obviously, I'm not stupid, so they're never going to bum rush me into the ring for stupid money because I've got a great boxing brain when it comes to these sort of things. And that I'll probably excel in more than the actual boxing career when it comes to dealing with fighters' careers and training them and managing them in that sense because I'm very observant and I've spent 17 years studying this sport now. Like I'm like an ADHD kid, so I can only focus on one thing properly at a time, and I've focused on boxing properly for years now. Like, do you know what I mean?
So that brings my next question, because I've asked all my guests this, and I'm going to do like a highlight reel of everyone's answer. If it happens, biggest fight in British boxing history, Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. Who wins and why?
Yeah, I'm bored of this question. I'm so bored of this question. And you know what? I couldn't even answer you. And you know what? I like both of them, so I wouldn't even want to. And my opinion don't mean nothing. But it's just one thing you have to consider. My breakdown of the fight. A lot of people side with Fury because of the Wilder performance and Anthony Joshua's Ruiz loss. Maybe a few subpar performances, maybe against Parker, maybe against Takan, maybe. But one thing I will say in AJ's defense is he's always struggled with the small people that looks like they shouldn't be in the same ring as him. I mean, any video of him struggling or getting done in the amateurs has been by a 5'11" little fat tubby Romanian or Azar. Do you know what I mean? He always struggles punching down, and a lot of people do. But he's very good against the giants. So you can't just think, oh, well, he done that to Wilder. Da, da, da. AJ's a lot bigger than Wilder. A lot
And a
heavier.
better boxer.
Yeah. But Fury is like a one-in-a-generation type of talent. I mean, he touches my heartstrings in the way he boxes, moving and elusive. And what he put in his game, really, this time, that he didn't have before, was those triggers that he was throwing. He was coming out erratic, throwing like 4, 5 arm movements before he was throwing punches. Like, we've never seen him do that before. And that's because they probably clocked on to anytime anyone throws anything with Wilder, he just goes back in a straight line. If you go and wait for him to touch the rope, he's a sitting target. And it was very good game plan. That I don't think would work as much with AJ, because as soon as he starts doing that, he'll probably just punch through him, and he's got the same height sort of stature. So I don't really know. I'll be honest. I'll be real. The whole build up through their careers, I've always sided with AJ. Always, I thought. But that's because Tyson Fury's career to a certain point was kind of underwhelming to a certain degree. It was. You know what I mean? Let's be real. He had the hard fight with McDermott. Cunningham put him down. But then he's come good. The Klitschko, the sort of snatch and grab victory against Klitschko, which was just what was needed. And I don't take anything away from that, because this Moruti might be a cash and grab, a snatch and grab sort of needed. Do you know what I mean? So I don't, take anything away from him for that. But then obviously he's just blown everyone out the water of the Wilder and showed, wow, okay, he can punch as well, that no one ever gave him credit for. He was never known as a puncher, was he? And then obviously he just iced out Wilder and then battered him, to be honest. So it's one of those ones I'm really looking forward to, but I don't know if it will happen anytime soon. It doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon, because I see the old John Fury come out and shout in his mouth, and then usually that don't mean things are going well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I hope the fight happens, because it's great for boxing, and literally everyone will stop around the world and watch boxing for a bit.
100%.
And if you're on the undercard, then best of luck to you, because it's a great bit of exposure again. Yeah, I wouldn't even be able to edge you each way, because I really don't know. And because I don't know who I think is going to win, that's how I know it's going to be a good fight. Because there is fights that get me stumped. A lot of fights I pick right. But fights do get me stumped sometimes. And that's when I know it's going to be a good fight. And it'll be one of those fights. As soon as that's the case, and I'm not sure who's going to win, I don't even score it more time. I just watch and enjoy it. Because they're the fights that are the 50-50 ones. And I do believe it is that, because there's too many variables. And a heavyweight boxing, everything's times 10 as well. So yeah, I really couldn't pick a winner. It's what you like, it's what you fancy. I know a lot more people are probably favouring Fury now because of the Ruiz loss and then come back and how he boxed and won. But he had demons going into that fight. You know what I mean? And yeah, I don't know. I have to wait and see. But no matter what, it's good for boxing. It's great.
100%, and we hope that it happens, and we look forward to your live, because we like that when you're watching a fight live on your Insta live and you're making comments about it and stuff. So The fans love that. So keep doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I will do, man. I will do for sure.
Sonny, I just want to say thank you for taking your time. We've spoken over an hour and it's been great talking about boxing and trolls and everything else. So again, thank you for the opportunity. It means a lot. And when you're world champion, I hope I can get the opportunity again.
Yeah, man. Fingers crossed. I've done all the work I can do. So let's hope I get some judges that we've seen over in Britain for some of the fights. You know, when the British fighters start 8 rounds up, I won't mind that. But no,
100%,
hopefully,
man.
and I think so as well. Hopefully, I got a world title to bring over to my 2 boys. That'll just, you know what I mean, that'll mean the world to me.
That's it, man. And we all hope that for you, mate.
No, thank you for your support.
Anytime, man. Stay safe and good luck on the 30th of April.
Thank you, mate.
Take care, mate.